Hello, nerds. Welcome to Nerds with Dice. It's Nerds with Pride, and we're raising money for the Translatin Coalition all June, along with our friends over at Sword and Key and SoMattyGameZ. So, at the Translatin Coalition, TLC, we believe that every TGI Latine deserves safety, dignity, and opportunity. Through comprehensive support, fearless advocacy, and dynamic leadership programs, we're building a future where our community not only survives, but thrives. The donation link is in the Twitch chat and on our social media. Our first goal is $300. Once we reach that goal, we'll be giving a $20 gift card to Friday afternoon. And there's also going to be some incentives specific to our game that I'll mention just before we get into it. But I think we'll just go ahead and do some introductions. So I'll go first. Hello, I'm Mads, they, them. I'm a tabletop role player, GM, writer, and occasional voice actor, all of which I do mostly on my YouTube channel, Madelancholy, where people are gracious enough to join me for games. I'm currently running a playtest of Good Society Second Edition and finishing a Trophy Dark incursion for the upcoming Kickstarted Ruin anthology, which I have playtested several times. And I'll be in a game of Grand Guignol later in the month as part of Nerds with Pride. Um, that's enough about me, so I'm going to popcorn it over to Kylan.
Hi everyone, my name is Kylan. I use she/they pronouns. You can find me at KyleWithAnN. That is how it's spelled on Blue Sky as well as Twitch. On my own personal Twitch, I like to play video games. Right now, I'm doing something called the Relic Castle Project, in which I play through 14 different Pokemon games. And right now, I'm on Pokemon Black. So I haven't streamed a little bit just because real life has kept me busy, but feel free to follow and check it out.
Hi, I am Jonas Tintenseher, also they them. You can find me anything relevant mostly is at linktree, linktr.ee/TINTENSEHER. Right now I'm doing this. I'm also running 10 candles later in the month for this event. Very exciting. And I'm currently working on a lot of different projects for Draw Steel, the new fantasy tabletop game. So if you like fighting monsters, come check out my page. Thank you very much. Popcorn de verre.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, that would happen to me, wouldn't it? Hi, everybody. I'm Ver, he, him pronouns, and well, I've been playing TTRPGs consistently for about 10 years. This is my first actual play game. I'm a writer, editor, actor, streamer, occasional scientist, and a whole load of other things that would take about 1,000 years to rattle off. I'm in Jonas's 10 Candles game later this month, and a Tales of the Monarch game later this month, both for Nerds with Pride, and also have a horror novel coming out later this month at some point. Yay. If I exist anywhere on the internet, you can find me there under Subvertebra, and I will popcorn things over to Ran.
Hi, I am very out of touch with my own life because I just realized I am going to be in the Monarch game with you there and also the Lagunier game with you, Matt. I should know about those things. I am Ren. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a theater director by trade, and I do this sometimes. I'm also a professional game moderator on Start Playing, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Great. So if anybody is familiar, 1 year hence is a Descended from the Queen game, which means it has bones from the For the Queen card game, storytelling card game. And we're going to be telling a story about our journey to meet the Green Knight after we struck him a fatal blow and he came back from it. And then now he's going to be giving us one. Hey, us. We'll find out about this story as we tell it, but we're going to go through the instructions. The beautiful part about this card game is that the instructions are also including like how to play the game, how to create the world, Green Knight, and the characters that we have created, and then we'll start playing and go through the prompts together. tell a story that will be changeable, as I'm sure, as we go. So, have it on 20, starting with the instructions. Righty. So, read these cards aloud in order. Oh, Kylan, you're on mute.
Whoops. On the eve of the new year, the Green Knight visited your kingdom, where you all served the crown in one way or another.
The knight traveled throughout the capital, repeatedly issuing a challenge to any who would hear them.
Here, take up my axe. You may strike a single blow against me with it, and in 1 year and a day I shall strike a blow in kind.
For your own reasons, each of you at different times and places that day answered the knight's challenge.
You each struck the knight a mortal wound, yet they went on living.
The knight had the power to heal instantly, picking up and reattaching lost limbs or even their own head.
Before riding off, the knight told you to find them at the Green Chapel 1 year hence, on the first day of the new year.
In the eyes of the royal court, you are honor bound to fulfill that agreement.
It has been decreed that all of you as a group will travel to the Green Chapel. You have gathered together and begun your journey.
In the digital version of this game, there is an X card on the playmat.
If you come across a concept, a card, or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card or otherwise indicate you're invoking it. That content is removed from the game.
Randomly draw or choose a touchstone card to help provide inspiration for the kingdom in which you live. Discuss what the image on the card means with everyone. You may use more than one touchstone card for this if you like.
And so we have done so when we had our session 0 game session, sorry, and see what we've come up with. Come up with the kingdom. And one of the touchstone cards that we picked was the swamp, which we decided was saying that the kingdom was very politically corrupt, lords and nobles very conniving, screwing over the little people, and just indulging in so much excess.
Yeah, really not relatable. I don't know why we went with that.
I guess if we're keeping the same order, another touchstone card we drew was the supplicant, which we interpreted to mean that the church has so much power, even more power than the king. Um, and the church is kind of the reason why we're undergoing this quest. They call it tithing.
Our next touchstone was the flight, which it gave rise to the existence of a seer who is so old that we don't even know their name. The role of the seer gets kind of passed down from generation to generation, and the church hates them. And there was an omen, something, a beginning or maybe an end that was interpreted from a great murmuration of starlings.
After that, we drew the desert, which we determined had to do with resources drying up in the wake of political corruption, and that there was an impending upheaval on the horizon.
And the final card we drew was the rose. It's a tale of innocence and love as a symbol for us to look to. It's prophesized that there is a birthmark of a rose.
And next up, the knight. Oh, Mads, you're the one you need to know. Oh no.
Oh. Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's gonna happen to
So
all of us once.
yeah.
Mhm.
So who's up for reading 14?
That's fair.
That would be me. So sorry.
Okay.
Uh, Randomly draw or choose a touchstone card to help provide inspiration for your game's version of the Green Knight. Discuss what the image on the card means with everyone. You may use more than one touchstone card for this if you like.
Again, we have done this already in our session 0. So one of the first cards we pulled out was the Bull. Physically imposing, an absolute unit. This Green Knight is a big hunk of beef with antlers, horns, and a configuration on their head that looks like a crown made of branches.
Another touchstone card we drew was the Mask, which we interpreted to mean that he is somewhere hidden in plain sight, perhaps not who we assume he is, um, and perhaps watching us in the background.
Our next one was the healer, and we determined that our kingdom has some connection in the woods. There are many fae living around who like to make bargains to remove various ills. And the Green Knight, being perhaps one of them, is not clear to any of us what ill this is removing, other than perhaps ourselves in the eyes of the church.
Our next card was the Wolf. We determined that the Green Knight was functioning on their own rules. It seems fairly straightforward to have a blow dealt and then deal the returning blow, but what are they accomplishing with that? What kind of healing is going on? What is being healed at all? Which tied very well into the previous one.
The next card we drew was the tomb. Um, Decided that the tomb doesn't necessarily only mean death, but rather beauty created out of bones of the past. There's always going to be new hope, new things growing out of dead things, trees growing out of a tomb, sort of thing.
We did pick an extra card because why not?
I
And
think this one was supposed to be for the kingdom.
okay,
The scaled beast, how
okay.
there is a suspicion of some sort
Oh
of
yeah.
nature.
We we had pulled that one I think during character creation, and then we went, but what if we had it anyway?
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
hey, you can do whatever you want because as the directions say, you can pull a touchstone card at any time to provide inspiration.
Perhaps
So
a dragon, perhaps a caiman. We don't know for sure.
we don't know, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna play to find out for sure. Continuing on with cards.
All right. If you wish, you may look through the remaining touchstones and select or random draw one or two cards to help inspire your character.
And we did come up with our characters during session 0 and art. My character is named Greyarden, he, him. He's essentially an alchemist for hire. Um, and I pulled the tome, which book, he's an experimenter, a knowledge seeker, um, too curious for his own good. He thought, you know what? Sure, I'll take a shot with the axe. Let me see what happens. And then with pulling the coins, I think Rayarden has been fed by or fed into the corruption of our political landscape in the kingdom. And he took a deal and was sacrificed on the altar of commerce. So he's been betrayed. So it's almost as if this was a calculated move to get him out any way possible. Finally, I pulled the rock. He's hard headed, obstinate, going to stay grounded and steadfast and immovable when the Green Knight takes the blow and takes his head because he doesn't think this is going to happen. Skeptic. Well, so we'll see how this goes for Grey Arden.
I guess to continue in the same order. So my character's name is Brahm, he, him pronouns. So the cards I drew, the first one was the horse. So I think he's a real workhorse. He Before he became a knight, he came from very humble beginnings. He was a farmer and he worked really hard to get to where he is now. Um I also picked the water. He's normally pretty even keeled, pretty calm, but sometimes, like, the water can, be a little I guess, flow a little more rapidly. So, that got me thinking, for someone who's normally so calm, what would cause him to strike out against the Green Knight? And then the answer came to me in the sword. Ah, of course. He came into possession of a sword that speaks to him, and the sword perhaps tempted him to strike out against the Green Knight when he otherwise might not have. And perhaps the sword has more to say as we go.
I am playing Marjorie, she, her, who's the common washerwoman in the kingdom. My first card was the dagger, which I took, given that he's got his big axe, sword, all these fancy weapons around. Marjorie is, she's got tough hands, calloused hands, but she is not a fighter. She does not have a lot of muscle mass. So, in the face of all these threats, she is quite frail and fearful. She is scared and alone in this world. And uh, the next one was the storm. Uh, I Her reasoning to get here was one of those fae from earlier who make deals to remove ills. Her lover, her maybe husband or wife or whoever it was sick, and Marjorie gave up their young child to the Fae as a changeling in exchange for their health. And they did get better, but then died soon after for unrelated reasons, and leaving Marjorie alone, just continually uh, powering through this dark storm of her life. And last was the cold. Uh, I decided that she made this deal in the winter with a mysterious fae, a dark, wintry stag with frosty antlers, who is also maybe a massive, haggard witch with also hands and eyes and teeth, and also a third strange, unspeakable thing that lives alone. And now Marjorie, too, lives alone in the dark and cold of her home in the winter. And when the Green Knight arrived, she struck out not in anger, but in fear that the knight had come to collect more on her debt to this creature. And now she is terrified, realizing what she has done.
All right. uh, During character creation, I made Percy, he, him, officially short for Percival, unofficially short for absolutely nothing at all. Um, I decided he was the son of a significant figure in the church, which led to a lifelong affliction of the tale of the Green Knight haunting his dreams, and he struck a blow against them in order to get one entire year of good night's sleep. This goes about as well as one would expect, I believe, though we'll play to find out. The card that I drew first was the volcano. I took this to represent hidden depths and anger boiling beneath the surface after years and years and years of torment that a mythological figure would have no idea about, but which unfortunately impacts the life of a relatively normal person somewhat significantly, as well as the ruinous fallout afterward. The meteor was my second card. Took that as a single bright moment before impact, that spark of hope before the head fell or the Green Knight fell, as the blow may have been. Taking the shot. And my third card was the depths. Quintessential fear of the unknown, the beauty and horror in dreams and what could be.
And last, I made Isabel LaFay, the lesser known sister of Morgan LaFay, who struck a lethal blow, not so lethal, we soon find out, towards the Grey Knight because that was her fate all along. And she believes, and as the first card I drew was the thread, she believes that in order to embrace her own fate, it is best to confront it. In order to mend the fate towards a more hopeful future, there is no reason to avoid it. Because she believes that a thread should not be cut simply because it leads towards sorrow. So she will always follow it willingly, knowing what waits for her at the end of it, rather than spending a lifetime knotting herself into this tangle web of fear, trying to escape it. She understands it not as chains, but as a opportunity for herself to weave what she wants to make choices. The second card I drew was the liar. Um, Unlike her sister, who wove magic through other means, Isabel's magic is takes shape as old songs. She believes that truth lives in songs and music and words. Words without melody can lie. The church's created sermons can command obedience, and histories can always be rewritten by victors and kings and bishops and everybody in power. But music that passed down from lips and from generations through her own blood will be the truth that carries through. So she sings to heal, she sings to ease pain, to mourn, to make new flowers grow, and to make herself less afraid, as she kind of catapults herself into possible martyrdom and whatever else that is waiting on the other side of this journey. And the last card I drew was the moon, which represents her belief in that changes and the constants of changes is sacred. Because unlike the sun, the moon is ever changing. There is no certainty or permanence. There is going to be this constant remaking of oneself over and over again, which is what she does. She sees herself in tides and cycles, just like the moon itself, which is a symbol that her sister and her both believes in. It is the light that shines upon wanderers when the sun is hidden behind our planet. So, yeah, that's me.
Absolutely beautiful. Continuing on with the instructions. For a shorter game, remove up to 6 cards from each of the 4 prompt decks. I'm going to say that we at least will have 1 card each that we will uh, pull, and then I'll see how that goes because we have 4 seasons to look at.
Yeah.
So,
Shuffle each of the 4 prompt decks. Each deck represents a season.
When you use the prompt decks, spring is first, then summer, then autumn, then winter.
Decide on a turn order. Take turns drawing a prompt card, reading it aloud, and answering its questions. Feel free to interpret the questions in any manner you like.
On your turn, other players may ask you additional questions or make suggestions, but whether you respond to those questions or suggestions is entirely up to you.
if you get stuck on a question, remember you can draw on a touchstone card at any time to help provide inspiration for your journey.
If you draw a card that's then removed from the game via the X card, you don't lose your turn. Simply draw another card and continue. You can X a card you drew yourself.
You can also pass on your turn. To do so, after drawing and reading the prompt card and rereading it, maybe tell the next player, "I'd like to hear your answer to this question."
A prompt card can be passed along until everyone in the turn order has turned it down or someone applies the X card to it. If the prompt is answered, play proceeds from the next player after the one who answered it.
Read the corresponding season card at the turn of each season, starting with summer. Let each player answer the question on it. Then proceed to the next prompt card.
Continue until the green chapel card is drawn. Each player should answer that card's question in turn. Then, the game is over.
Begin when you're ready. Whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
Oh,
So just so you guys know, I had pulled the green chapel card. So this way it's like I can like watch for time and then see when we get to the end, like as we're getting closer, when to just pull that out and go, all right, we're gonna answer this question. So no pressure. Okay. So don't feel like, oh my God, we just drew it now and we can't we finished the game. No, no worries. Alrighty. So that's it for the instruction deck. Go ahead and if anybody wants to start and just pull a prompt from the spring deck, that's the green, the dark green deck. You totally can. And again, you can pull from the blue purple deck, which is the touchstones at any point if you need a little bit of a boost for your inspiration. However, just remember that there are incentives for donations because we are trying to help donate to the Translatin Coalition for Nerds with Pride. And so $5 will have a particular player that you identify to definitely draw a touchstone card, and they have to include that into their next prompt. Okay? And then for $10, it is where doing this thing. Sorry. Okay. So $10 is for a player to mention another player character with permission as part of their next prompt answer. And then for $20, the next two players answer the next prompt together as part of the same situation. So you're basically, yeah, basically in a scene. But please donate. We're trying to work towards that $300 goal and let's make a story. Right? So whomever wants to draw from the prompt deck first, or I'll do it and then just give an example.
Normally I would hop right in, but I'm pretty sure Marjorie is not at the forefront of this little traveling party. So
No problem. I will go ahead and do this. All right. So, why did you accept the Green Knights challenge? So, I think as Grey Arden is thinking about this as we're trudging along and making our journey during springtime, I think things are still relatively nice out. The weather is mild and things seem fine, and contemplates the, well, I'm not going to say foolishness of his decision, but was an experiment. It was to see if it was actually going to happen. He seemed so sure that the Green Knight, they seemed so sure that nothing was going to affect them. Haunted me. They they said, "Scientist, you can't prove a thing. This is magic that you're dealing with." And I I mean, yes, I make some things with my alchemy, but stitching themselves back together? Not seen that. I needed to prove it to myself. Of course. At any point, anyone can ask questions. Person answer.
I have a question. Has Greyarden formed a new hypothesis on how he can defeat the Green Knight? Or is he still turning it over in his head?
Thinking about some alchemical formulas would burn through, make sure that he couldn't pull himself back together. Connections, the things that would bind. I need to burn off the binders, but I wouldn't be allowed to bring fire, would I? So he contemplates this as he stares at the ground while he walks.
I have a question. Is this the first ever, like, Greyardine's first encounter with something like this? If the process is known enough in the kingdom that they have a word for it, might not be frequent. I mean, I don't think we established how often this happens, but if they call it something, they call it tithing. As is Greyardine just like, I guess how much in denial is Greyardine about magic in general? Really is the question.
Denies it because he hasn't seen it.
Mm,
He stays in his lab much as he can, that dingy basement, and performs experiments. Of
mm.
course. I mean, some things could be tossed off to possible magic, but so long as I get my coin, I don't care what you call it.
Makes sense to me.
Do you, does Greyarden share his skepticisms with the group at all?
Don't think so, because I think he either has heard of Isabel or kind of knows her reputation, perhaps. And, you know, yeah, he's full of skepticism, but I think he knows not to piss off somebody that looks like they could possibly, like, know somebody that knows somebody. So, yeah, he's already gotten in trouble for that. Not gonna do it again. So, Island or Brahm, sorry.
Oh, yes. Let me draw a card. Oh, wait. I took it to my hand. Let me take it out. Okay. When you met, the Green Knight insulted you. Wow. Why have their words stuck with you? Hmm. Maybe I would like to say that, and I don't think Brom knows it at this point in time, but perhaps to the audience, is what the Green Knight said was not an insult. I think it was with the influence of the sword that is speaking to him, is basically like, "Are you gonna take that? Do you hear what he said about you?" Um, he I think it had something to do with, like, his background. He's not of a noble status. He wasn't, selected from a young age to be a squire, to work up to a knight, you know, so I can't think of the exact words he said, but, uh, I don't think I think the Green Knight referenced his background, but it was not meant as an insult, perhaps just an observation, and the sword is like, "Hear what he's saying? He's saying you're nothing. He's saying you came from nothing. Are you just gonna take that lying down?"
How often
Does go ahead.
question, how often does the sword do that to you?
Does
And how often do you believe it? I mean, like, does
Mhm.
it manage to get under your skin?
So, I don't think Brahms has this sword very long. I think it was perhaps given to him as a gift by perhaps some noble or some representative of the church, perhaps, um, in in recognition of his good service to the kingdom. So he hasn't had it very long. And I think he's only just now started to hear its whisperings, and at first, maybe it was only at night as he was laying down to sleep and the sword laid by his side, and he's like, "Oh, my tired mind is playing tricks on me." And perhaps this is the first time where he really in broad daylight and in full consciousness he heard these words, and this is the first time he was really driven to act. So this is a new sensation for him.
Is for Brom?
I have a question. The sort of building off that, what is Brahms like? Kind of noodly answer here. What is Brahms' reputation among other knights of the kingdom? Is this something that, like, when the sword is egging him on, is that like building off of this, a social thing that's happening, or is he cool with them? It's just the Green Knight that kind of, yeah.
I I think there's always going to be a degree of like other knights looking, maybe not all of them and maybe not overtly, but looking down on Brahm just because he didn't come from noble stock. Um, that it was a fluke to where he got where he is. Maybe that's what they think, and maybe Brahm doesn't know for sure, but maybe this is playing into that anxiety a little bit. So it is perhaps affirming some of his own doubts about himself.
Very nice, very nice.
So we have some donations that came in apparently. So this is wonderful. Um, so the next prompt is spurring on the next two players. So that would be Jonas and Ver to share a spotlight. So both would share the next prompt.
Wonderful.
Okay. Let us draw. Ooh, that is tasty.
Uh-oh.
We got, what question did the Green Knight ask you, and why were you unable to answer? So I imagine Percy, that, as, I don't know if it's fair to say two of the more normal people in this squad, but
I and he will also take that.
not necessarily normal, but just kind of like,
We don't have magic and we don't have cursed swords.
yeah, we're just sort of, yeah. Actually, hold on. We've been told all of these. We got 3 incentives. All of them were targeted at Kylan, actually.
Oh,
Um,
oh no.
Oh, God.
Congratulations.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Congrats. Okay.
so perhaps when we circle back around, it's yeah, Kylan and then whoever else.
Yeah.
So, but I think we can still use that setup, though. I think Marjorie is kind of hanging back from everyone, and with Percy here, and I think the question that the Green Knight asked Marjorie was something along the lines of, it was sort of getting at how could you make that choice? How could you give up one of your loved ones for another loved one? But it was phrased more like, can't you admit that you wanted them gone, or something like that, that you knew that it wouldn't end well, you had to have known. And is there any kind of person that really would have done that unintentionally? Because you either did it on purpose, or you're the worst fool in the world. And I think this was probably also after Marjorie had struck her blow. So she's sitting there, she's like, oh my God, I just killed someone. What do I do? And then as he's like picking his head up, or probably she didn't cut all the way through, so probably he's just like kind of sticking it back on. She they ask this question, and she's just like frozen in shock and fear and anger, and cannot answer.
I think for Percy, there are a couple of facets that would probably go well with this, um, that are both encapsulated by the question of kind of, to what lengths would you go to be free of like your responsibilities, of whatever's haunting you. And I think that he would like to believe that the blow that he struck was the answer. Um, but there was most definitely a period of silence or hesitation. It was not an answer, it was a different kind of allegedly calculated response. Um, but to kind of the same tonal similarity as the one posed to Marjorie of, are you sure that you're a good person? Are you sure that this is worth it? Uh, kind of questioning that personal or moral stance. Just how far would you go for the thing that you want? And it's difficult to answer in that case, not because he thinks that he's necessarily a good person, um, but because he does not know. This is the blow itself with the kind of cruelty that he's unused to entirely, and even that in itself, as stated, was not an answer.
So if we're hanging back then and talking about this, Percy, uh, I think Marjorie is quiet for a little while, and then she, both I and she, asks you, uh, what do you just what do you think is going to happen then? Is to either of us?
Mm. I think that he's pretty quick on the draw with it. I think we'll get what we deserve.
She like shakes her head, and she is not happy with that answer. All right, Ran, our next
Okay.
prompt.
I'm drawing from autumn, right?
No, from spring.
No, still in spring.
Still spring.
Okay. Right. Okay. The color is confusing me.
Right.
The darker green under the
green.
touchstones. Yeah.
Mm,
There's instructions, touchstones, spring. So the third from the top.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh boy. You narrowly avoided being disciplined once for a misdeed. What part of that memory continues to haunt you? Okay. Um I'm gonna draw a touchstone card. Okay, the mountain. So I have previously also did a reading for myself, and rather for Isabel, with my tarot deck, and I drew the inverted Empress as my past, um, which represents um the feeling of being undesirable, lack of concentration, smothering, and selfishness. I think it was the one time she decided to go against her own visions. It's the one time that she decided to go against her own fate. And instead of confronting it, she tried to avoid it. Um, it was overwhelming at times, and I think it was her sister who asked her a favor, and she was hesitant and she refused. And it was a prophecy, right? Like her sister has always known best, and she had asked her to go into the mountains and seek out someone who could have been the turning point of this kingdom, and she refused. And it continues to haunt her because of not what she did, but of what she did not do. She keeps thinking that perhaps she could have prevented all of this. She could have been the one who um and then when she looks at her companions, all of these people's fate, she could have prevented. um the Green Knight did not have to strike back at any of us. None of us needed to strike upon him a year ago, if only she had embraced her fate at that time.
Question. Did
Mhm.
she ask you to find person, the rose birthmark?
Yes. And I think the warning she received was that this is the most important thing ever. You need to find her, even if it means your very own end. And did not want to embrace her own end. She's young. She has a whole life ahead of her. So why should I? Why should I sacrifice myself for whatever this is, whatever uncertainty this is? So she refused. Now she's regretting it.
I have a question. Did
Yeah.
Isabel consider herself selfish before that decision?
Uh, no, but ever since then she does.
Questions? Hey.
Circle around.
So, just to, uh, just see how 5 cards goes, for, the first round. Now we're gonna go into answering the season's prompt, so let me pull that out, give me a we're gonna move into summer. So, drag. There we go. Okay, so summer. You'll soon reach the borders of your ruler's lands. What will you miss the most about the kingdom you are leaving? Everyone answers.
Whew. Um, I think Marjorie can only answer that she misses the memories she had. And she doesn't miss them that much because they're very painful. But she doesn't have any remaining family or friends or prospects. She's just leaving only her home behind, and she misses it in that she misses what it used to be. But for the most part, this is okay. I don't know about for the most part. In part, this is a relief. For the most part, probably not.
I am going to play on that and say Brahm has the opposite situation where he does have a family at home. He has a wife, he has a bunch of kids, you know, they probably all still live on like this family farm and you know, he's spent so much time away from them already with all of his duties as a knight, you know. There's and there's something in the back of his head, perhaps a sordidly whisper that's like, "Well, you were practically already gone anyway. Do you think they're they're really gonna miss you at this point? You were already gone."
I think Grey Ardan is going to probably look back a little bit and think upon. He doesn't see the horizon line. He just sees like his little lab, the nice solid door, and misses the coziness, the dinginess of it because it was his, and he could go back in there and retreat to a world he knew, reading the scrolls, reading the books, and r- just doing his experiments until he was hired for another alchemical mess or whatever, and could just continually go back there. Now, it's can't go back.
Percy, Isabel?
Um, I think back in the kingdom, for a while, I think Isabel was kind of carrying on in a sort of relative consistency. She was happy being a musician in a way, um, and she misses and as she leaves behind the kingdom, she also leaves behind her obscurity. She was able to live as someone who is just ordinary and normal, and she did not need to embrace her bloodline, her fate, her heritage, her destiny, and that was something that she need to reckon herself with. It was almost as though she, she was able to put her life on pause, which, as someone who comes from a family of conjurers and people who had connection with powers beyond ordinary comprehension, it's rare. It's delicious when you get to just create magic through ordinary means and create awe by just beauty without anything that's attached to it. Um, but that is something that she cannot go back to anymore.
I think what Percy will end up missing the most, um, despite the desperate bid for violence, in a sense, um, is the safety that the kingdom provided. Uh, Being the son of a church figure grants its certain protections, and even if he kind of probably pushes the boundaries of that, I'm picturing him as a little bit of a lush. Um, no longer having that kind of protection whatsoever, being entirely outside of the realm that he's lived in his whole life. Not only the literal kingdom, but the insulation of that position um, is daunting as it is terrifying. Exhilarating is almost the right word, but it definitely verges into terror. So the safety and comfort home is what he'll miss.
So, um, so okay, so for it's suggested that for the next prompt, resolve the companion question spotlight touchstone for Kylan since we gave a freebie with.
Yeah, those were all we got all three for Kylan, and we
Oh my
gave
gosh,
a
amazing.
freebie with me and Ver, but
Okay, all right.
those
All
are
right.
those are still pending.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay, so I mean, now we're moving into summer. So summer is the lighter uh green deck or the yellow green deck. So we draw from that. I mean, like it's my turn to draw, but I'm perfectly happy to pass over so this way Kylan can do all the things.
Yeah, let's get those incentives, okay?
I will do all the things. So just to make sure, I will be drawing a touchstone card.
Mhm.
I will be sharing the spotlight
Jonas.
with Jonas.
Yeah,
Okay.
just next player along, just me.
Yeah.
And anything else?
And if with permission, you also need to include one of the other three characters in your. So presumably not me because I mean I guess it could be, but it's more fun I think if it's someone else.
Yeah, if you but
Yes.
even if you like say, oh, like that person was there in the background or something. I mean, like, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
up for the challenge.
Okay. Hot damn.
All right. Let's put
Thank you
this
very much,
card out.
Cyberwolf.
Oh, this works perfectly. Okay. What business arrangement do you have with one of your fellow travelers, and how might this journey put that relationship in jeopardy? So, I guess before I say anything, let me draw a touchstone card because this will probably oh wait, I was going for instructions. Touchstone, the bull. Okay. Hmm. I feel like if there is if you consent, Ver, I feel like this I have an idea that's forming.
Hit me.
So I'm wondering if so we've established at this point that the church has more power than the king at this point. So I'm wondering if the knights are supposed to be in service to the king, but the church is like, well, actually, we need them for this. It's very important. It's for it's for the good of the kingdom. The good of the church is the good of the kingdom. So I'm wondering if your your father, you said, or
I didn't specify, but father
okay,
seems correct.
okay, maybe your father is like, I need you to look after my son. Uh you need to protect my son. It's important to the kingdom. The good of the church, the good of the kingdom. Um, it, do you think that sounds agreeable?
Absolutely, yeah.
And why I think it's the bull is because the bull inspired that for me is because Percy seems a little like this volcano card is kind of reminding me of like the explosiveness, the brashness of a charging bull.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think maybe this is just like, oh my god, I royally messed up. I was supposed to protect this clergyman's son, and what happened? He struck out against the Green Knight.
And then we both did. That was
Yes.
the opposite of what was supposed to happen.
So maybe it's one of those things where we have been we've been together for over a season now. And you know, I think at this point, Braum has avoided talking about it because he, still feels like a failure at this point, and it's probably reinforced by what he is hearing from the sword that seems to prey on all his insecurities. So he's just been kind of watching from a distance. Uh, but then at some point, I think he says to you, Percy, um, uh, Master Percy, I want to apologize for not being there for you as I have been tasked to do.
And I think Percy looks you over and takes a deep breath and lets out a big sigh. Says, "My father tasked you with that. I hold no ill will against you. Frankly, were you not also on this journey for your own purposes? You could just turn tail and I would have no issue with that."
I I suppose I also acted out of turn and outside of my uh, a knight should not be goaded into such a challenge, and I, perhaps if I had not been so foolish and fallen into my own temptations, I might have been able to prevent you from having the same fate.
Maybe, but it was sort of fun, wasn't it?
I think Brahm's like, no, no, certainly not. Perish the thought. No. This is a very grave matter, Master Percy.
It will be when we get where we're going.
um, I feel like the so I want to draw someone else into this scene. Um, and I'm thinking I would like to say, Isabel, with your permission, that maybe you are at least up until this point have been in the background of this. And why I'm thinking that is it seems like you might be overhearing that Brahm is like, I could have prevented this. I I think Brahm is not someone who ascribes to fate. If he ascribed to fate, he would have stayed a farmer his whole life in his eyes. That was what was fated for him. He rose above that. That wasn't fate. So and maybe this is like kind of the first you're hearing of him being like, I could have changed this.
Hmm. And I think maybe this is just something that uh, emerged in the background as Brahm, you have this conversation with Percy. And Isabel has been writing alongside of you in the background, and she's been the quieter one amongst all of your companions, and occasionally she will strum her lyre, but almost more like a tuning than any sort of performance that she's doing. But I think in the midst, or rather the tail end of your conversation with Percy, you hear in the background she starts to sing. And it just goes something like that, like um words become wishes. I hope that you hear this and stop saying vicious things about your own being. Take yourself home, be there alone, sit by yourself, No message from beyond, so I hope you find wisdom in all of your wanderings. I hope you find now and lose your longing for other time, future or behind. We'll only live now inside a mind. And I think she will write just next to you and would say, you wish to find any fault in all of this. It will be mine, not yours.
I, I, Madam Isabel, I see that you might be trying to take on some of my blame, but I assure you, it's simply not the case.
It doesn't really matter anymore, does it? All we have to do is whatever that's coming towards us, we will have to meet it head on.
I, but, for now, I suppose we will have your lovely songs to make the journey a little more bearable.
There's a reason we are, each one of us, we are all here. There's a reason you're here, and all of the threads of our fate are woven together in a tapestry. I am glad to be sharing this with you.
Um, right. Right. And you can see there's like a he's turning the words over in his head, but you know, there's a little bit of like he's not fully bought into this idea of fate controlling this. But he's being polite. Oh, Mads, you're muted.
Question for Isabel. Um, how sensitive are you? Like, would you like, being in near proximity to Brahm now for like a season, do you think that you would have heard some murmurings from the sword? Like not hear it, but like kind of feel something
Mm,
like know it's
I think
something.
so. Yeah, I think she is sensitive enough and uh is like in touch with these different wavelengths in the air with her own sorceress nature that like she could empathize how Brahm is pulled towards different directions in a way that she herself is um like her own destiny is sort of not really in control of herself, and however much she could embrace it, she know there is something beyond what she could write for herself, what she could sing for herself. And I think this is the reason why perhaps she goes out of her way to make sure that Brahm um, does not feel as much the burden he might feel for himself.
Given all of that, I just lost track of like who the hell needs to pull a card next.
Well,
Let's
we
Well, it
make
did
was
let's make it
normally
Jonas.
it would have been your turn, but then to address the incentives from our lovely donations,
Yes.
we jumped out of turn. So if you would like, we
All
could jump
right.
back to you, or we could just keep the circle going from where it is now.
Let's go ahead and I'll draw from the. As long as each one of us gets a turn, I mean,
yeah.
I'm okay with it, and then we'll just go back to the um regularly scheduled
Great job
order.
handling all of those. God.
Thank you. Thank you to my scene partners.
Okay.
Thank you for the invite.
What does the Green Knight seem to know about you that no one else does? Ah, crap.
I can feel the stress.
I mean, I think Grey Ardan, like, like mulls over it and like thinks about a memory in his head, and it wasn't necessarily public. I mean, there was the Green Knight, and remembers someone someone goading him, also probably also making a nice incentive by paying him some coin to just give it a try. I mean, like, prove it to yourself that, you know, be mortal. They'll die. Be fine. But I think just before Rayardan swung the axe and sliced off Green Knight's head, I think Green Knight looked down at Grayardan with that horned helmet and looking through the eyepieces, but I could see his teeth kind of like broken branches, and just looking through dark woods. And he smiled. He said, "You believe, don't you?" I swung. He's wrong. I don't. I don't.
I have a question, but I'm just sitting with Uh, so who who paid you?
Was a church official. This They were robed, they were hooded, as they usually do. They don't want to say that they're hiring me for some kind of alchemical mix to fix things, but they did. They paid me. They paid me several times, and I think this time it wasn't just for just for tincture poison. It was for this, to make me be part of the tithing. Don't know who specifically did it, why, but I am.
If I want to ask a follow-up question. If Grayarden had any suspicion that this was just a ploy to get rid of him, why did he accept it?
Because I don't think he knew until after it happened. Because again, I mean, like, he was being challenged, like, it's just part of your experiments. I mean, nothing will happen, or it will happen, and we can prove that he's mortal. They're mortal. It's fine. I thought I was doing my job. I thought I was doing my job well.
I have a question. Does Grayardin or did Grayardin actually like his job? Like,
Yeah,
was it fulfilling, or was it just sort of what he was good at?
as long as the coin kept coming in, it'd pay for my supplies. For the room, I could spread out all of my notes and what I needed to do. Yes, satisfying. I mean, tinctures are easy. Poisons, bit more difficult to get some of them hyphened, but still workable. And so I thought I was needed.
I have a question.
Hmm?
Did KyleWithAnN ever do anything prior to alchemy?
I think he was a scribe. Remembers being as part of the church's scribe school. Facing those patterns, making those drawings and illuminations, and coloring the same damn unicorn more than a few times. But yes, there was scribing involved, letters, my education, but then fell into the experimentation because it was just so much more satisfying than looking at just parchment all day. I could play with things, I could make other things. I could put liquids together, I could turn them into things that they could breathe for pleasure or for pain. And I was going to sit and do something I
Has there been anything you have done with alchemy you've regretted?
no questions asked. They knew I could make it. And it was a challenge. I could put things together, I can synthesize things. Couldn't make I couldn't make metal into gold. Or the couldn't make that change into gold. I mean, that's stupid. But asked me to make something. Capsule. Capsule that something inside it. Just to help someone sleep. I was tired. I had too much wine. Dang. I regret giving the capsule that I needed after that. Just the one, but I knew who gave it to.
Whew. Next prompt.
If we skip me, I would go to you, Jonas, if you
Oh,
would
for
like.
just sure. I thought we were just jumping around. I'll take it. I'll take it. You've begun to suspect a hidden purpose to this journey beyond the Green Knights challenge. What else do you believe is going on? You don't say. Yeah, I think that tracks. I think Marjorie is sufficiently scared of whatever creature the Green Knight is that she thinks this is all part of the same bigger picture. And I think she's been starting to see unusual signs. As we're walking, we anyone who maybe turns to look at Marjorie would see that she is casting or keeping an eye on Isabel a lot. It's a look of confusion. It's a look of that can't be right. You that's it's just a coincidence. It's a coincidence. That's all. It's nothing to be afraid of. And she's certainly too afraid to bring it up, whatever it is. And she is jumping at every stick that breaks on the path and every bird that chirps in the trees. And she keeps seeing faces in the wood. She keeps thinking it's the face of the knight or the face of the stag that she dealt with or the face of her lover or the face of her child, and just all these figures that she is, all of them scared to see again, are watching. And they are egging her on, encouraging her to turn back, daring her to do something drastic. She's really getting in her head that, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I don't know. You need to tell me. You need to tell me. Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me and I'll do it. Just tell me, please. Please, I can't. I'm not strong. I can't do this by my, please. And just ends up muttering in that way a lot for many, many days or weeks straight. Anytime she thinks the others are occupied and not listening, she just kind of falls back to the rear of the group and is paranoid and muttering about everything.
Question.
And
Oh,
yeah. No, and so I think like it's the question is what else do you believe is going on? And I think she's like so deep in it that there is something going on and it is to mess with her specifically. And these people are either part of it or they are also being messed with severely. And it's all a big trick. And the thing that scares her the most is she doesn't know why. She can't, even if she is a terrible person, she's like, this is so much effort to mess with us. So there must be something very dark and evil waiting at the Green Chapel that enjoys this torment.
question. Does Marjorie, when she looks at Isabel, does she feel like some sense of familiarity, like this was the stag, this was the witch, or this was the strange unspeakable thing of winter?
I think Marjorie did have that thought when we were setting out
Mhm.
very early on, because Isabel is so aloof and ethereal, and there's just kind of something about her vibes, her hair, something there that was like setting off. It probably wasn't even a conscious thought, but just like nervous about something. There's a part of lizard brain is telling you something there is wrong. Don't interact with that. But then spring went by and everything was fine, and we've all been traveling together for long enough. But then the first time she hears that song and she starts paying more attention to her, Marjorie's that's when this whole like paranoia really starts to compound, and she starts to go, no, I should have trusted my gut. There is something there. I don't know what you are, but I know you're not human. I know something is in you. There is a shadow, a beast, something that will come out at night and terrorize me, devour me if I don't keep my guard up. Of course, saying none of this out loud, but she is not good. She is not wise or stoic enough to hide her kind of nervous glances all the time toward Isabel.
Right.
I have a question, and this might be bending the rules a little bit, but I really want to poke at this and ask Isabel if
Yeah.
he has noticed anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's like it seems to be all like interconnected. So go for it.
Mhm. Um, Actually, no, I don't think she has noticed that in particular. Yeah. I think this is somehow her blind spot.
I also
That's
feel like, where Marjorie is like really sunk into winter, I feel like me, the player, is like looking at Isabel and thinking it's like very, very spring summer court kind of thing, if I was really gonna suspect anything. So yeah.
Marjorie is just like is constantly like looking at Isabel, stealing glances every time she can, and is fully stuck in her head of like she knows and she knows something and she's here for a reason and she's going to eat me and something. And Isabel is just like singing her song completely like, "Hello, Marjorie. Good morning." Like,
Oh my god.
feet tired?
Amazing. I think well, I mean, like, already delving into, like, the deep, dark secrets that's within our minds, because we can all create shadows. I think this is a good time for, getting ready for a break, and when we come back, we're going to resume with, either, Percy or Isabel drawing a card to finish out, summer, and then go on from there. So,
All right. We'll see you all in a few minutes. Bye. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your donations. We're already at our $100 milestone. So thank you all
woohoo!
so much.
Yay! Thank you.
We'll be back in a few.
Thank you. And we're back. Hi. Thank you for coming back to join us again. Remember that we are here to join everybody in donating for the Translatin Coalition and believing that every TGI Latina deserves safety, dignity, and opportunity. So please check out our incentives. Go ahead and go into the Tiltify link that appears in the Twitch chat and please donate. Thank you. So we're going to resume with either Bear or Isabel drawing the next card.
Sure.
If it's okay, I will draw the next one just because she was involved
Yeah, definitely.
just now. What dreadful truth about the kingdom was revealed during the Green Knight's visit? Okay, all right. Okay. There is, I drew the healer card for the touchstone because I just needed something. And I'm gonna check my, my own tarot card that I drew for myself earlier, which is the inverted Ace of Coin. Okay. There is a corruption within that kingdom, within our kingdom, and uh, there is a deep rot. We are in debt, and it's not just in the financial sense. We have the healing power that the kingdom was able to draw from is actually drawing the essence, drawing the lifeline, the blood, the marrow of the land itself. And the more we are able to, the deals that we have made with the healers to cure the ill is going to return to tenfold to bite us in the back. And it's like a house of cards that we have built. The higher the tree has grown, the deeper the rot in its roots.
And how did we find this out?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm. I think when Isabel struck her own blow against the Green Knight, something peculiar that occurred that she saw and no one else did at the moment was similarly to someone else said earlier. There is a wicked smile that spread across the face of the Green Knight. It's almost as though he expected this and he was there to rip the band-aid off, so to speak, and to unmask what was hidden. As he crumbled into dust in her vision, the horns, the branches that formed into a crown upon his face revealed, like transformed itself to be a root, and it starts to rot, and then it starts to extend into the depth of the earth. And that's what she saw, and that's what she has held in her heart. And part of the reason she then kind of pursued this journey 1 year hence, title of our show, is to figure out how to prevent this from like like cause the crumbling of our entire kingdom, because even though she knows this journey means that she can no longer go home ever again, she still wants to somehow save what she has left behind.
So she doesn't believe the destruction of the kingdom is its fate.
She believes that whether or not it is its fate, there's still hope. There's always hope. If the kingdom was to be um, destroyed, or destruction is coming upon it, by embracing her own fate, by embracing the kingdom's fate, um, that is the only way to save it, like a phoenix rising out of the ash.
Does she believe that she is the sacrifice that will prevent the rot? Or does she think that she'll find someone that will help prevent the rot along our journey?
She believes that if she is able to put herself into that checkmate move, is the best option. And because of all of the regret she has felt with herself, like the reason this all occurred was because what she refused to do. This is her debt to pay.
I have another question. Who all is privy to this? Is it just Isabel at this point?
um I feel like, and this is just my instinct talking, I feel like Grey Arden would be privy to this because of the alchemy, because of yeah, because maybe some kind of practice that he had done before formed a connection between the two of them, and he was able to receive a premonition or receive a vision within a dream where Isabel reached out, not consciously, but rather in this way of, I just want to share with someone about this thing that's been percolating in my head.
Were you expecting Rayodan to be to give you more practical reassurance, or did you sense that he would say something that he believed you?
I don't think she even realized that Riordan knows. I think it is just this subconscious frequency that she was reaching out, and then within that dream realm, within that ethereal frequencies that they got connected in. Um, yeah, so I don't think she expected anything.
Because I think when you do and you start to talk with him, first he's a little bit like, oh, talking to me. Um, but I think, he'll actually settle down with you and like see him in a listening posture and like actually listening to you. And instead of getting that aloof scientific kind of, no, that's not, that doesn't sound right. That sounds very, very esoteric or whatever. He'll actually look at you and say, saw you. How are you in my dream?
I was.
It's true.
What What was what did you dream about?
Dreamt, dreamt I was in the mountains. Tree that was black and see the gnarled roots digging and clawing into the ground. You were there, almost like a witness, and you saw how it was digging deep, as if it was alive.
I can feel it. I can feel that the gnarled roots of the tree is supposed to dig into my very own heart. And I think I'm all right with it.
Why?
If it means that there is a deep rot within the depth of our kingdom, and I could have prevented it. I know it. And I'm doing the only thing I can to redeem myself. Something that I could have done, should have done, and refused to do.
How how could how could one person prevent or cause this, the corruption, the rot?
I don't know, but when one person has some sort of responsibility that they run away from, it's going to cause more consequences. And I think have caused consequences, and I don't want any of you to pay for it.
I know about consequence. I think like he'll make sure that nobody else is listening. Did Marjorie tell you about her lover, her husband?
If I had done what I have done, Marjorie would not have lost her husband.
No, no, no,
Marjorie would not have lost a
no,
child, and
no, 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 no. And he'll actually grasp your. I think I did something, created something they used on her husband. That's why I'm here.
I think she's just a bit stunned. I think never have had her ever considered that her fate and someone else's fate would have been connected in that way. She did not realize that her reaching out into the ether would have caught someone who is sharing a journey with her. Um,
In more
and
ways than one.
yeah, and she never had considered that perhaps the consequences that she is willing to pay and has to pay involves someone else perhaps paying some sort of consequences themselves as well. Um, and then she will look at you in the eyes and say, "Sometimes the stitches come loose in in the tapestry. I think the threads of fate has connected us, all of us. I think in the end of the day, it is possible that I might have to take a share to it rather than a needle. And I think I need you to promise me when it comes to it, you will help me steady my hand, even if it means it's the end of both of us."
Only if you do the same for mine.
Of course.
on it. And then he reaches out and clasps your hand. See this card for some.
Yippee!
Good lord, that was so much delightful. Oh, you went to the bottom of okay, there you are. Yay!
Read it out.
Drama. Sorry, I had to compose myself.
I know.
Which of your traveling companions has been the subject of the most gossip at court? What have you heard about them? I love it here. Let's see. The most gossip. You know, let's with your permission, Brahm, I'm going to name you.
Me?
You. And I think while nobody knows it is due to the influence of your delightful sword, that's definitely the problem. Would you remind me? You said that it was gifted to you by the church. Is that correct, or was that still up in the air?
Um, yeah, I said it could have either been like the king or the church. I
Mhm.
didn't really put a firm label on it, but
The
run with it.
government.
Run with it.
Sure. I think that from that, because Brahm comes from such humble beginnings, um, it has been kind of interesting for the kind of courtiers, as well as his fellow knights, to watch these subtle shifts in his personality as the sword's influence overcomes him, um, which I imagine would manifest both as kind of those outbursts like we have now seen with the Green Knight, um, as well as perhaps moments where he doesn't quite seem like he's all there, less in terms of um, not knowing what's going on, but just kind of like flipping out of existence for a second and coming back to in the middle of a conversation. Like, sorry, would you recap the last 5 seconds for me, please? Because the sword has been whispering something weird in my ear. And I think what Percy has done with this is kind of tucked it in his pocket, especially with Brom being kind of assigned to him, more or less. And like, of all of the knights that my father could have charged with me, this is probably the best option. You're weird. I can get away with a lot of shit.
That's the best thing
This is I love this card.
ever.
How has Percy used that to his advantage?
I think definitely pressing boundaries of like, you're supposed to keep an eye on me, but I'm technically an adult. So I'm gonna go do this over here. While you are having a dissociative episode.
Oh no!
For just a couple of seconds, I'm gonna dip and I'm gonna go do whatever I want.
I mean, the sword is basically like, giving him shit. It's like you're going off and doing your own thing.
Yeah, and I feel like that plays very well into the sword going, well, are you gonna take that? Or well, shouldn't you what was your job again? Oh, is it paying attention to the not literally royal, but if the church has more power than the kingdom, then the like kind of noble kid that you're assigned to, or is it listening to whatever I want you to do?
You failed the one thing you were asked to do. You
One
might as
job.
well go back
One-
to tilling the farms.
one
Yeah.
job.
So I suppose that would also make the Green Knight's question hit quite hard.
So it's basically like, oh, yep, the rumors were true. I've seen it firsthand.
I think he keeps that to himself though, because as much as possible anyway, because if the rumors are true, were to get out as the truth, then that would put a real damper on the fun that at least one of them is having.
Love it. Autumn. This is one we all answer.
Oh
Change
dear.
into the next season. Your journey has carried you far from home. How do you behave among strangers? Strange land.
Do we think, and maybe the answer to my upcoming question is whatever you want, but do we think this is referring to like strangers in the lands we are traveling through,
Mhm. Yeah.
or
Yeah, because they would be strangers to us. I mean, like,
yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
basically in across the border. We're in a new place. Absolutely. So how do we behave?
Hmm.
I can answer first. I drew a touchstone card, and it's the water. Um, and the uh the next tarot card that I drew for myself is the inverted strength, uh, which means to me, at the very least, um, there's a lot of self doubts that Isabel is experiencing. There is a lot of fear that she has felt throughout this journey that she doesn't really reveal to anybody else. This has been a journey of redemption because of all of the guilt that she feels. I think the connection that she had with Greyardin probably means that he might be the only person who would recognize this. But throughout this journey, as water means this kind of source of life, the source of soothe and healing. The way she behaves is that small kindness. She's trying to be um, the best version of what every single individual she encounters would need. Uses her magic through her songs to heal when she can, to soothe when she can, and offer small tokens of kindness to every single person she encounters.
I'm also going to draw a touchstone to answer because I don't know. The sword. Ooh, okay. I think Marjorie is. I want to say she's just getting more paranoid, but I think that also manifests in her being more aggressive, and she has like kind of quickly. Forget what the correct term is, but she's sort of attached herself to these four people, none of whom she really trusts anyway. But we have come this far together, and you haven't eaten me yet. So, or worse. So this may be so like she's like maybe I was wrong that these people are gonna get me, which means it must be one of these people who are all looking at us weird. And so I think she's just like really snappy and like not don't give any food to strangers on the road, don't wave, don't raise your head, just keep everyone at sword's length.
Just be a New Yorker. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah. Hey, I'm tithing here. That's what she says.
I'm drawing a touchstone card. The depths. Oh, I think the way I'm going to interpret this for Groudon is that I think after his confession in a way to Isabel. And because Marjorie is, like, getting more than a little freaked out here and, like, just angry or something. I mean, like, it's like the tension is in waves coming off of her. I think he's drawing back into himself and just kind of, like, plumbing the depths of his own memory and, like, actually experiencing the regret of, "Oh, shit, something I did, like, did affect somebody, and it affected somebody I actually or or knew." And, yeah, he's, he's going more a little bit more introverted, I think, but, I mean, like, if Isabel reaches out to him and, like, wants to talk, that's perfectly okay, but I don't know if he would really reach out to anybody else. Like, if they talk to him, he'll talk yeah, if they'll talk to him, he'll respond and everything, but he's not gonna make any true effort to be, um, amiable, put it that way.
I think for Brahm, I think among these strangers in a strange land, he acts with shame because the tithing is a thing. It's something that has happened before. So he's like, these people have seen it all before. They know why you're here. They know why you're passing through. Um and so he feels that he feels as though he is being judged and he doesn't want to he doesn't want to act in any sort of way that may confirm their suspicions their suspicions that he is, some sort of criminal ne'er-do-well, someone, who is serving out this sentence. So he's just trying to make himself, for a large man, as small as possible.
For Percy, I think he sort of flip flops as like, two inverse answers to both of those. Um, One, because he's used to watching people in the church and at court, and kind of taking in what they're doing, and he's doing the same with this traveling party. And not so much finding the places that need filling in terms of mood necessarily, but kind of committing to, well, I'm just gonna feel how I feel, I guess. And two, because instead of getting to clear his dreams of hauntings, instead he is haunted by visions of his own death, which is great. So, as the inverse to Marjorie, playing off of the volcano card in his stack, as opposed to kind of being aggressive, he's going a little bit more inward on some days, some weeks, hours, whatever suits the moment. Kind of withdrawing enough to extend those observations to the strangers in this strange land. Because he's certainly never been outside the kingdom. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. And it is interesting, but it is also equally interesting to see how little things change sometimes. And then on the flip side, he is also kind of doing the inverse of Brahm, where instead of shame, he has decided that he is going to continue to pretend that everything is fine in the moments where he is not weirdly introspective. We are going to go find the nearest tavern. We are going to go get a good meal. We are going to live for as long as we are able to.
Move into the autumn deck, which is the red one. Oh boy. You see a large group of travelers moving hurriedly away from the lands you're approaching. What do you fear they are seeking?
Is it a scaled beast?
Yes, we have to include him. We have to include it in some way or fashion. I think maybe I think as they're approaching, I mean, like they're approaching, at speed, and I think as they go, as they get closer, I think Gradan will see that they're carrying weapons like bows and arrows. They have like crossbows or whatever, but they're not like having them in front of them, right? Like getting ready to like go into battle. Like they have them ready as if they're going to shoot behind them to protect their way forward. And they keep looking back even as they're charging through. And I think maybe pardon, even though Bredan doesn't get out much, I mean, I think maybe he's collected some parts, some maps of the regions and all this kind of stuff that's way beyond. And he, remembers seeing a drawing, like again, like the scribe thing going on. He remembers seeing a drawing that's been illustrated in these parts, but it's just a story, right? Wouldn't be anything like that really here, right? And he gets a real worried look on his face.
What did it look like in your drawings?
It was it was a six-legged beast that had the forward legs, like, point the forward feet pointing or, paws, whatever the heck you call it, pointing forward, and then the back, like, pointing backward, um, and had, scales, and it had, like, wings, but not wings like as in, like, like big, you know, carrying me aloft wings, but more like wings that look like they could be shields, you know, or I don't know, some kind of carapace of some sort or something. Um, yeah, I mean, and it was just odd looking because it had a very strange snout on it, like, very like elongated eyes and ears that looked sharp, not quite horns, but I mean literally like ears that had like sharp points at the edge, you know? It was an odd looking beast.
Yourself in that drawing.
Ooh. Think there's a particular sigil that Breredan will sign off on. It's a little bit of a word now. It's just a little bit of a conceit of his. And, when he puts a little magnifier on it, like, near the beast, I think he sees the sigil because it didn't look like any other map marking or a map symbol that he's seen before. So again, when he put the magnifier on it, realized it was his own sigil. Was saying that is impossible. And I think he'll tell, like, everybody about this. It's like, because they look like they're coming towards us, but they're, like, also moving away, like, they're moving in a diagonal pattern away from us, like, but they're definitely at charging speed. Get away as fast as possible.
Um,
And, like, he'll tell you, I mean, Doesn't seem likely, but look like they're of something. And he tells you about the particular legend of the beast, its heart, its land.
I have a question.
Mm.
How many more impossibilities will Greyerdan accept before he realizes that there potentially no more
And
in the
more
world?
possibilities before breakfast? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think because he won't admit it to anyone else, except for maybe Isabel. But I mean, he is has it is as the Green Knight said. He does believe, because he experienced something in youth that he doesn't want to admit, and he's dug that deep and, like, buried it so he doesn't have to think about it. So in protest, he's basically gone the other way. And I'm a complete skeptic. So he will find a rational reason for anything. It's like it's probably some beast that hasn't been cataloged before, and they're exaggerating the amount of legs, or they saw it wrong, or they saw multiples, but they smashed them all together and put them into one because they were frightened, kind of stuff. So yeah, he's probably going to rationalize that as well. Doesn't explain why a group of them are charging away though, but doesn't matter. Gonna rationalize it.
I think, since you told us this, I think Rom would try to ease your worries and would say, the beast is a legend of our lands. I don't imagine such stories made their way out here.
I mean, that's all it is, right? It's a story.
Uh, yeah. I think Brahm is trying to maybe Brahm senses like, "Oh, there's actual, like there's something behind there, like, there is, like, a real sense of, like, apprehension or fear or something." So, I think Brahm is, like, doing his best to assuage you, just like, it could be anything, It could be, for all we know, a wild boar or, it may not even be related to a creature. Well, we won't know because our paths will not cross.
Exactly. And it doesn't hurt to be more cautious anyway, being in a strange place.
Mm, that is wise.
And
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
I hid the up-season touch, so we only have the touchstones.
Perfect. What animal has been watching you and why is it making you suspicious?
Wait, we're all a suspicious bunch. What are we talking about here? Sorry.
Oh, I have an idea
Go for it.
because I wanna I wanna poke something. I wanna poke something. So, I'm gonna say that there has been a stag that has been that has been nearby.
Yay!
There has been hang on, let me, is there any oh, yeah, kinda this dark stag, and even though it's, like, kind of it's autumnal right now, but it's still, there's, like, this kinda cold aura about it, um, and, like, Rom isn't, like, sure what it means, but I think he just, like, kind of, casually brings it up, around the fire and just like, I've seen a a beast that is unfamiliar to me. Perhaps it is a creature common in these lands, and will describe this wintry stag. Hmm. Interesting. Oh,
Oh my god. No,
What?
you were. I'm so sorry. On stream.
Oh.
That's my bad. I misclicked. Say that last line again, please.
Oh, I said, I asked from what similarities has he seen between the stag has been watching him and Isabel's shadow that has been cast from the sunlight.
what similarities? I kind of think I almost want to pass this on over to someone else because I don't know what Brom would have noticed. I want to open this up to anyone else.
I think the
Yeah,
way
well, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the way the light passes through Isabel's like clothing, robes, or what have you, and then like when it kind of like shines down, I think the light is what's the word? Not dissipated. It just has this weird shimmer and shine that like think of the word. Anyway, it spreads the shadow in strange ways that makes it look like the shadow is turning into the horns and slenderizes it in such a way that it looks like, animalistic and such. So it looks like kind of deerish. I don't know. Yeah, with horns, you know. So yeah,
You said Brahm is bringing this up around the campfire, right?
Yeah, because uh, this is just like hey, has anyone else noticed this stag? Like this must be native to this lands. I've never seen this before. It keeps following us.
Yeah. So Marjorie will definitely, she like freezes and she will ask about that, but just as the conversation continues, uh the campfire grows a little brighter and a little taller and a little brighter and a little taller. And Marjorie, she initially freezes and is just looking at Braun with wide eyes, but I think out of the corner of her eye, she just starts to see only Isabel's shadow growing from the fire and just getting longer. And maybe not even turning into the horns yet, but just it's the only one that's moving. And
oh,
Marjorie like doesn't process that at first, but just in the background that's happening as she looks at Brahm and freezes and says, "Stag, did you say a stag so far from home?"
Uh, yes. Very strange stag. I never seen it before, and it just kind of has this chilly aura about it.
probably just the autumn winds. I mean, getting colder, of course.
No, no, chillier than that.
Did you
Unless, oh, go ahead.
did you see its antlers? What did they
Uh,
look like?
I've never seen it up close, but they were they were impressive. Seemed like a large beast.
Didn't look like the hmm, didn't look like and like, Paradon puts his hand like on his forehead as he's thinking. Didn't look like the horn crown of Green Knight.
No, no, not as verdant.
Have you ever hunted a stag, Sir Knight?
I can't say I have.
Are you sure if you just didn't see the shadows from the trees on our paths? Because they could sometimes look like, and the shadows, I mean, they could look like the horns of a stag. Perhaps.
Question for Isabel: Is this a is this a deflection, or is this like an honest, like, oh, maybe you just missaw something? Like, how is is it a deflection at all?
No, it's not. She has
Okay.
not noticed a stag at all.
Okay. So it doesn't sound familiar enough where she'd be like, "Oh shit, we better."
No,
No,
no.
no.
Wait, my question is this to Brahm. So as you say this, and, we're giving you, like, all sorts of, like, rational, reasonable things, it's like, what is the sword telling you?
Mm. Mm.
I think the sword is quiet.
Oh, even worse.
The sword is letting this play out.
I think it's lied, okay. Yes, turn.
I think Marjorie, when Isabel asks about the shadows, that's when Marjorie finally notices her shadow growing. And she looks over and if she's like sitting on a log, she falls off backward and shrieks and is like pointing at Isabel. It's like, you, it's you.
What?
What?
Look at the, and she points and the shadow is back to
Fine.
normal and the campfire is where it was. And Marjorie like blinks and it was coming.
Are you all right? What was that?
Would you like a sip of and Isabel would pass Marjorie like her water skin. Maybe you're just
Uh,
parched. You like some
M-
water.
Marjorie like almost slaps it out of your hand, but at the last moment is lucid enough to just push it away instead of wasting the supply. And she's like, I don't want anything from you. I don't want
I
anything
don't
from
know.
anyone.
I don't know how I've offended you. I apologize if that's the case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Offended you. Yes. Sure.
I think
What does it matter anyway?
Grayodan will help you up, just having this very confused look on his face, and just look back at Isabel and then look back at you, Marjorie, and you sure you're feeling all right?
No, I'm not feeling all right. We're on a quest to our deaths. You feel all right?
Not going to dwell on it for the every single day that we're on this journey.
Oh, well, I
Long
wish
enough
that
as
I
it
were
is.
so stoic.
Death doesn't always mean the end, Marjorie. I know that we are on a quest of possible deaths, but it's also death isn't inevitable, Marjorie. We're doing something worthwhile. Or at least I hope so. I believe so.
None of you know anything about loss.
Are you sure about that?
I don't even remember his name. I don't know who I'm becoming out here. I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be hunted by that stag anymore.
I think at this point the sword pipes in and says, "Look what you did."
Oh my god, what a shitty sorry. Sorry.
You should have kept your mouth shut.
How does
Like, oof.
how does Braum react to that, if at all?
Um, I think Brom stands up and is like, I think we're all just tired. I think we're all really, really tired and we should rest.
Sounds like a good idea. And he'll just help you up, Marjorie, and then walk away and probably like, go to Bella and like walk away. But looking back at you like with you, you know?
Marjorie will leave our little camp and just kind of set out into the dark.
I think being the two that are temporarily left anyway, Percy just looks to Braum and is like, they all know we chose this, don't they? The terms were laid out in advance.
I can't say I know what they're going through. We are all here for the same purpose, but uh, there's so much that we have carried with us too on this journey, things that we did not leave behind at home.
Including a stag, evidently.
I, I'm sure it's nothing. I uh, Isabel and Grayardon were right. It was probably I I shouldn't have said
How big was
anything.
it?
It it was quite quite large.
Then it seems a stretch that you imagined it. If it's going to cause such strife in our final days, perhaps best to drop it.
Yes. Yes. You're right.
We should see how Marjorie's doing when the sun rises. See if there's anything to mend there.
I agree.
Marjorie, please draw a card.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's a good second. I didn't want to. Yeah, okay. For some for some time, the land you now travel through has had a terrible hold upon your soul. What have you left undone here? Really, that's a tricky one. I don't know how I can answer that.
Remember, if you don't feel that it fits, you can always either X card it or you can pass it along to somebody else.
Yeah, I kind of want to pass it because I feel like there could be an answer somewhere in this group. I just don't think it's Marjorie because she's trying her hardest not to do anything. So yeah, I'll pass this along. It does technically goes in player order, right?
Yes, it
So
goes in player order. Yep.
uh Percy, I'd like to hear your answer to this.
Let me think for a sec.
Yeah, you can also pass. It can go around the circle. And
It's
then,
just, it's so juicy.
yeah, yeah.
What have you left undone here? Okay, I can play with this, I think. So I think partly to do like with that seasonal revelation of being stalked by a stag. It's kind of built upon the feeling that there have been things left unspoken within the group at large. and the fact that we all still do not trust nor know each other very well, despite our various connections, both on and off of the road. And I think that with all of those observations that Percy has been making along the way, that is digging into him, he has never been here, and yet, despite that, this land seems to be sinking its claws into not only him, but everyone else. Um, and I think what is left undone is the being on the precipice of winter, however many weeks it might be until then, makes him want to address at least one thing that he has carried from home. Um, and there is a question that is simple but pertinent, that I think he would. hmm, I think he would specifically want to ask Brom because of their history and also because of the Gospel Court question. But if anyone else would like to participate, please feel free. This is an open invitation. Um, he approaches Brom at some point after that stag revelation, and simply asks, "What made you do it?"
I suppose you mean, well, there's nothing else you could mean, I guess.
I struck first, and the Green Knight's head went back on. I was in no real danger, so why did you do it?
He he said something to me, and it's funny. It's been so long, I don't even remember what it is now. But in that moment, it felt like something beyond me, almost like a voice that wasn't my own, told me to strike.
We are not too dissimilar then. I don't hear voices, but trying to escape what felt like a taunt.
Do you recall what he said to you?
And Percy looks a little bit far away for a second. With clarity, unfortunately. All that really matters is that we did it at all. And we're on this journey now. I'd wondered, with the way people spoke about you and all of those changes, allegedly, if you didn't have something of a death wish.
I I I do not know what you mean.
Not that you have a crown as such, but I imagine the sword weighs just as heavily.
Um uh and I I think the sword is like whispering, is just like uh you know, maybe not even to Brahm at this point, just almost to itself, like, does he know? What can he hear? Uh well, yes, the sword is always a heavy burden, but I do it in service to our kingdom.
Don't we all do everything in service to our kingdom at the end of the day?
is what is Percy like? Is Percy giving any tells right now as to how he is feeling?
The first word that came to mind was treasonous.
Oh, but actually, would Brom
Yeah,
know that those are tells? You know, just saying.
I think so. I think he's a fairly like. I don't think that Percy necessarily talks about himself much, but I think he gives a lot away in his expressions and the way that he speaks.
Low key treasonous vibes on Master
It's
Percy.
gotta come from somebody. Oh my gosh. Um,
So anybody consider treason today? This fine
depends.
autumn eve?
Wait. It depends on who's running the kingdom because, like, is it really the king or is it the church? I don't know.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
Is it treason or is it blasphemy or is it both?
Mm. Mm.
Could be both.
Could be both. Both.
Um, but yeah, I think this is an attempt for Brom to be like, oh, oh shit, I need to deflect. Like, no one would believe me if I said anything about this. So I'm just going to I'm gonna appear as normal as possible. What do you mean people are talking about me? Oh my god.
Isabel.
Okay. I'm scared now. Okay. What unusual milestone do you pass? And how does the journey feel different afterward? Okay. I just now pulled a card for myself and it's the Page of Wands. And there's a shift in her demeanor, I think, upon this journey. There's almost is a acceptance, like after what happened with Marjorie around the campfire, and there's um there's some introspection that she has been doing um throughout this entire journey. And I think she has been going through the different stages of grief uh for herself. Having talked with Grey Arden about quite a bit of these things, and then Marjorie bringing up the fact that this journey is to our own death and to our own end. She has thought about that a lot herself, and like the embrace of the fate is what she believes in truly, but also is a stage of denial. Leaning on that to not really think about her own doom. Um, but at this point, I think having like being pulled into confronting it in such a visceral way, there is a new acceptance. There is this new joyous attitude towards that. So yeah, she is more optimistic than before.
It's nice that someone's looking forward to it.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Uh quick thing. Did you actually get to do a card or did you just
Oh,
ask?
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I literally was just like, yeah, cool, we all wet. I can do a quick one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go for it.
unless it's a crazy thing. One evening, someone offers you and your companions shelter in their I what you and your companions shelter in their home. What troubles you about staying with them? I thought I read this too fast and I thought it said what troubles you about slaying them. And I went, excuse me?
No!
I'm not
A
that
few
bored now.
things, maybe.
Oh gosh.
I
Yes,
think
yes,
yeah,
yes.
easy question. I think Marjorie. I know we want to move to winter, so I'll just keep this quick. But I'll put this to everyone. Marjorie would insist that we do not stay. So how does that go down? Are folks cool? Like she would freak out and like stamp her foot and be like full exorcist, like this is evil, we are being lured, we will die, we cannot stay here, we must keep marching. Would would
Can't
she
tell
be
me that
entertained, or would everyone stay?
you can't tell me that you're seeing stags in the
Don't mock me.
I'm not trying to mock you. This is insane. Why are you trying to tell us that we can't stay here?
We are pariahs. We are not wanted anywhere. We are not wanted here. It is not safe.
They're offering us shelter.
They are offering us lies.
If one person objects, we ought to go with the limiting factor.
It's all right. The canopy will offer shelter, and this is written in our stars, and there is nothing that can harm us until we accept our own fate in the very end. We'll be all right.
Brom have an opinion for the sword?
Uh, yeah, I think Brom just lets this conversation happen. I think now that Percy is like, we should probably just stay out. I think Brom nods in agreement.
And we march on through the night. Marjorie's in the lead for once, and just every it just like and it starts raining, and there's like wolves howling,
I think
and everyone's clothes are soaked through,
Yep.
and someone's bag rips, and we lose a couple days of rations, and just internally, Marjorie is like instantly like, why did you do that? That was a terrible idea. You gave up a warm fire and shit. Like you are the problem. You are causing the issues. You're not a good, like all of that. But
Oh my
outwardly,
God.
she just has to keep a
Yeah,
straight face and be like, that was the right choice. That place
Yeah.
was evil.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because Brereton was gonna be hard-headed, but I mean, like, if everybody else was gonna be like, "No, come on, let's just go." I was
Let's
just like,
let's keep her from
first
having another meltdown, maybe.
exactly, right, and then, like, but he's looking back at the place, and he's just thinking, "The only welcoming place that we've had however many been." I mean, I think he'll murmur this to Isabel, leaving that Alright. Last season card. Winter. The world grows stranger the closer you draw to your destination. What dreams plague you in these eldritch lands? Everyone answers. Oh boy.
Marjorie dreams of her family, the memories of them that she has have been slowly slipping away into the fog the longer and longer we travel. And every time she lays down her head, she sees a different one of her traveling companions in the place of her lover. And she starts to get confused in the day and she like refers to her husband, her wife, her lover, just generically. And she starts like almost like in a fugue state. She kind of every day it's a different person, and she almost has been calming down because she is hallucinating that one of you is her family somehow, and she keeps trying to like hold someone's arm and be like, have you seen our child anywhere? And then you're like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh right. And she kind of goes back to her muttering. She keeps just mentally replacing everyone with the blank cut out, like she can't remember their face, their name, anything about them anymore.
I'm gonna draw a touchstone card, I think, for this.
Please do.
Arrow. Huh. I'm gonna draw another touchstone card.
Okay.
The sun. Okay.
You want some time to think about it. It's like I got something.
Okay,
Nice.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think KyleWithAnN is kind of restless in his sleep. Just draws his hood further down his face and just kind of like nod off when he can. And he starts to dream. And first, first he feels as if he's smaller, so much smaller, in a very scratchy blanket. He's being carried. And he just remembers feeling like old. And then he sees who's carrying him. And even though he's him, he feels as if he's carried by this regular person. And this regular person has a hood on, similar to some of the uh, church nobles and some of the monks and everything like that back in our kingdom. And he realizes that he sees underneath the hood, like from the cruel smile to the perhaps like pointed um glint of their eyes. What about his what about this person's features, Percy? Would you say would mark him as similar or puts him definitely as someone related to you?
Um, I think it's in the posture. I think it's primarily, at least. It is a very composed, pseudo regal posture that Percy has very intentionally kind of issued and worked his way out of to seem not entirely common, but at least approachable and distance himself from that family. It's kind of unmistakably that of an upper clergyman or a noble.
I mean, I think this is where like underneath the hood and the robes, I mean, like, there's a glint of like some kind of like ecclesiastic uh metal or jewelry or something like that. Um Dan's no longer being carried, but he's like walking towards this person now along like some passageways that are familiar but yet not in the castle. And then he's being handed two capsules. One he made, one he didn't. He's being asked to choose. And then he wakes up.
Um, so I drew another touchstone card because I couldn't think of one for sun, but I got the heart this time, and I think I can work with that. Um, I think when Brahm lays down to sleep at night, he feels a heartbeat, and no, he feels two heartbeats. Feels two heartbeats come from himself, and as it goes boom, boom, he feels the the beat carry out from beyond him and almost like through the ground, and it is the almost like the blood that is being pumped flows through the land um, towards some central destination that fills him with dread.
I think the dreams that Percy has of his own death at the hands of the Green Knight begin to morph the longer the journey goes on into all sorts of variations. Um, and I think with that, they are occasionally interrupted uh, by things that seem a little bit too on the nose, even to him. Um, Robed hands that seem almost wrapped in strings, like they're puppeting whatever the ends are attached to. They move in sort of jerky ways rather than something fluid, something practiced, something like that posture that we just described. Like someone is at the end of their rope or is trying desperately to hold on to power. And I think some of the variations on those deaths include, despite being the one to say to drop it, being gored by that stag that Brom saw in the woods. And I think that there's kind of a sense of both deep unease and dread surrounding it because a foe that you don't know is worse than the one you do. And by God, we all know the Green Knight perfectly well. But also a sense of relief. Something about what Isabel said regarding the fact that we would be unharmed until we reached our destination sat strangely with him in the sense that he does not really believe in fate, no matter what the dreams say. But that thread of certainty that, no, you must live in order to die, felt all kinds of terrible. It would be nice to defy that, in a sense.
In her dream, she's looking down upon her own reflection in the swamp. It is rippling, it is bubbling all around it, and the reflection that sees of herself as she witnessed is more skeletal, a little distorted in the waves, and because of the murky water of the swamp, the shape that she sees is more shadow than reflection. And then you see, she sees that her own shadow starts to morph, and her hair stretches out and becomes more antler-like. Um, that's within her dreams. And then, even though it is a shadow, she sees that there is moss starting to appear on her skin, and the flowers blooming upon all of the. Um, there are scabs that start to grow upon her own skin, and then wounds reopening, and then from that, flowers starts to bloom. And then she hears herself singing within that dream, except it's two different voices harmonizing itself. Um, uh, that goes something like that. The What will you do when she drinks the sea? Drown her in sorrow and let her be free. When she's upset, all of her heart is cold. And the voice she hears more prominently is not her own, but her sister's, that she has not heard from for a long, long time. And that's the dream.
We're getting close because especially, like, with the way we do things, it's like we we really delve into these prompts. So, I'm afraid we're gonna run out of time and not be able to do the last question, or we can do like 1 or 2 more prompts in winter and then go right to the last question.
Yeah.
Right. What remnant of the distant past do you come across as you journey closer to the boy? Um, okay. I think as we journey closer, even though it's winter, I think maybe we're walking up a path or something like that, and we get a little separated because we're trying to search for, like, either, like, foraging, right? Like, just to what we can find, either for firewood or something, like winter berries or whatever. And I think Raridan goes off alone down his particular way, and he doesn't believe what he sees, yet he does. And he looks back to see if anybody else is here with him, and he doesn't see anyone else. Because what he's seeing is a little rose bush in this frosty winter. And some roses are fully bloomed, and some roses are still small buds. And he will approach the rose bush. It's as he gets closer, he realizes it seems to be preserved. And then he flashes back to something that he remembers seeing when he was very young, before he went to the scribe school. Something very similar to this, except it was spr winter going into spring, and he saw something just like this, where there was a rose bush that seemed to have icicles on it, but it was almost in full bloom in the middle of this thawing landscape. You remember smelling the mountain air, and he gets a whiff of that, different from being within a forest. It's open, it's more open, and it's more chilling, but yet it's also very familiar. And he involuntarily, like, moves to his tunic, and he will feel around his rib something that is on his skin beneath his clothes.
I'm not gonna ask anything, but I'm just having thoughts.
And pull the next card.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh, this is perfect. You must cross a mystical border into stranger lands. What must you leave behind to make the crossing? I think as Brahm tries to cross into this next land, he feels there is like a force stopping him, almost like a force field, and he can't go further, and his back just burns. It's like burning, it's white hot, and he he takes the scabbard off of his back. He unbuckles the scabbard, and the sword's like, what are you doing? What 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 are you doing?" And he, starts to lay it on the ground. He's like, "What?" And the sword's like, "Y you can't you can't just leave me here. You're going to the Green Knight. You'll be unarmed. Like, how are you going to defend yourself? You have to strike back. You can't do that without me. You can't do anything without me." Um, and, it's just, he lays it right there on the border and say, "I am going don't need weapons. And we'll leave the sword behind.
Whew.
Okay. Because we all have to answer that last question, I'm going to pull it from my old. So here is the last question. You have arrived at the Green Chapel. Upon entering, each of you finds yourself alone, your companions nowhere in sight. The Green Knight steps forth and stands before you, axe at the ready. Do you allow them to strike? Everyone.
I thought I knew what I would say when we got here, but I don't.
Well, you have time to think about it because I came up with something that will hopefully will. I don't know what I'll hope, but anyway. Okay, so I think just before this, though, it's like we kind of flash back to a time where, like, we were like getting down to the where of our journey, and we're pretty sure it's close, that we're close to the Green Chapel, and Greardan will pick out a vial from his pack and drink it, and gets to the Green Chapel, and the Green Knight steps forth and stands before him, the axe gleaming in the unearthly light of the Green Chapel. He'll stand there, face the Green Knight, and say, "Yes, I do. It's my birthright, Rose." He will unbutton his tunic and show the birthmark on his ribs. Swipe at me at the ready. You'll regret it. I think the last thing that he sees is the sharp, searing gleam of an axe.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Uh, so yeah, Rom enters the chapel. He carries no weapons, and he goes up to the Green Knight, and he says, "No matter what I tell myself, my choices are my own, and I take responsibility for what I've done." And he will allow the Green Knight to strike.
It's so hard. It's so hard. I see two paths. I just don't know which is more.
Flip a
I
coin.
I think yeah, I think I drew a touchstone. I drew two touchstones. The
Mhm.
first one was the desert, which I didn't know what to do with. And then the second one was the rose, which I guess I must honor because of it's how it's come to this game. So I think Marjorie enters the chapel, and in her delirious state, she sees the face of her lover in the Green Knight. And the knight's crown of thorns, not thorns, horns, do resemble the stag, but at the same time they don't. And the Green Knight is very much not a creature of winter. And the shadows are creeping in the cave. And yeah, Marjorie just sees the face of her lover, and she can't remember why that doesn't make sense. And she hears her child laughing from outside, and she just goes up to him and starts, just kind of fawning over them and blabbering about nothing, and just kind of instinctively goes down on one knee and bares her neck. And at the last second before the swing, she receives a terrifying bolt of lucidity, and she cries out and in without even words, but begs the knight not to do it. And I don't know what happens after that.
I think Percy walks in and kind of the rest of the world obligatorily falls away, with everyone else no longer being present and solely being beholden to himself for once, or second time, I guess. And he strides right up to the Green Knight very confidently, very self assured, in a way that's typically feigned for him. And pulls a dagger off of his belt, and holds it up, and flips it around so that the hilt is facing the Green Knight instead, and says, "We made a deal, but would you make one exception and do it with this?" I want to feel it.
Is that it, or do you
No,
have?
that's all I got.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh my
That's
god.
it. Cut to
Okay.
black.
I want to show you that I drew two final cards. One I drew in the very beginning of the game, and then the other one I drew right before this question was asked. And it's Inverted Devil and the Hermit.
Nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
The serpent, and the stag.
Please.
So Isabel walks into the Green Chapel, and she does not see the Green Knight standing in front of her. She does not see him holding the axe. What she sees is a pool of still water standing upright like a mirror. It's a world of reflections and shadows, and she steps towards it, and she sees her own reflection. And she realizes that her sister and her have been one and the same, and long ago, exactly 1 year ago, when Morgan the Fae struck the Green Knight with that fateful blow, she opens a door. And 1 year hence, when the Green Knight strikes back, it seals her own fate. And 1 year ago, when she opens that door, she opens herself to allow the Green Knight to enter her as part of the deal. And 1 year hence, she must strike upon herself to seal her own fate as well as the Green Knight's. So she reaches her one hand into the pool, the mirror that she now sees herself within and without, and pulls out that that gleaming axe. And then she holds it with two trembling hands and strike upon that mirror that's now solidifying in front of herself like the icy surface of the lake. And then from that 1,000 pieces that this mirror has shattered into, this pool has rippled across her entire world. She feels every bit of that pain, and then she sees thousands of reflection of herself, of that wound that she has struck upon the Green Knight and upon herself. A blossom, a rose that looks exactly the same as that birthmark that from a dream and from a vision that she had seen on Greyarden's ribs. She had always known her own destination and her own fate. And the very last moment of everything, there's just a smile on her face.
I think there's just one last little blog that I wanted to add. I think as the Green Knight's axe slices through Greyarden, he doesn't spew blood. It's some kind of viscous liquid that comes out when his body topples to the ground, and that liquid seeps into the floor of the Green Chapel. And the Green Knight feels a very uncomfortable rumble from underneath, and he almost hears a voice, perhaps Greyarden's voice, whispering on the breeze. I will root out the by consequence. Else is there anything else to add? We have
I think I have one final echo that perhaps Greyarden hears as that liquid seeps into the floor. And mostly because I was practicing this song for like an hour beforehand. But what he hears is this echoey harmony of two voices singing together. My mother's child is a savage. She looks for her omens in colors of stones, in the faces of cats, in falling of feathers, in a dancing of fair fire, in the curve of old bones. I am my mother's savage daughter, the ones who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice. And I think it just kind of echoes in simultaneously in his mind and in hers.
Yay! And that is our game of 1 Year Hence by Jim Ryan. Thank you guys so much for joining me at my table for tonight. I mean, I know we're like right up against it, but I mean, like, let me just remind everybody, it's like, hopefully we haven't run out of the road. But again, we are doing Nerds with Pride, raising money for the Translatin Coalition all June, all along with our friends over at Sword and Key and SoMattyGameZ. And again, Translatin Coalition, TLC, we believe every TGI Latin deserves safety, dignity, and opportunity. So, bring on this comprehensive support, fearless advocacy, and dynamic leadership programs, build help build a future where the community not only survives but thrives. So help out with your donations, okay? And yeah, I want to just like have our players go do some outros before we completely finish for the evening. So you know, um, hello again. I'm Mads. They them. Tabletop role player, GM, voice actor, writer. Find me as Madelancholy on Discord, Blue Sky, and itch.io. I'll be in a game of Grand Guignol later in the month as part of the Nerds with Pride run. And you can also find me playing and running games on my YouTube channel, Madelancholy. That is me, where you can find me. All right. So I'm going to pass it over to Kylan.
Hi everyone, my name is Kylan. I use she, they pronouns, and you can find me at KyleWithAnN. That is how it is spelled on the sign. You can find me at the name on Blue Sky as well as Twitch. I talked about at the beginning of the stream how I play video games on Twitch. I'm playing through 14 different Pokemon games right now as my own personal quest. But I also want to shout out. So we just had a mini campaign on other Doc's channel, Other Doc Jim of 1 Year Hence fame, where our good friend Levi Phipps was running a Draw Steel mini campaign that just concluded. And it was a lot of fun. It's only 6 episodes if you want to go back and watch it, but also go to Jim's channel because I think maybe a week from now, or maybe this week, they're having a 2-part finale for season 2 of their Lords of Gossamer and Shadow game. That's on Sundays. If you liked this game, go check out Jim's channel.
Jonas?
Yeah. Jonas, sorry, I was in the chat freaking out. I didn't realize I didn't realize who other Doc was. This is so cool. Hi, yeah, Jonas. I'm a writer, game designer, performer, editor. I'm sure I do other stuff I'm not thinking of. I will be running 10 Candles right here in 10 days on the 16th with Ver, and some other lovely people. So do be sure to check that out. And you can check out my link tree, linktr.ee/Tintenseher, Tintenseher, which will point you to all of the other important things. Well, I say important, I don't, not important. All of the other relevant things, I should say, that I'm doing. Thank you very much.
There.
Hi, I'm Ver, he, him. I do a bunch of stuff on the internet. You can also find it at my link tree, Subvertebra. You can also just find me literally anywhere under Subvertebra. If I'm on the internet, it will be there. I'm in Jonas's 10 Candles thing on the 16th? Question mark? And then Tales of the Monarch on later in June. It's on the schedule on the Blue Sky, I promise. I forgot everything else that I do. I have a book coming out this month. I don't know when. Thank you.
What's it called?
I had a lot of fun. If you want to see more weird stuff, go watch 10 Candles. We're all gonna die again. It's gonna be great.
What's the name of the horror novel?
What's your book? Yeah, you didn't say the name.
The title is Melt, subtitle Refrain. It's gonna be a series. It's
Cool.
vampires, and they're all in a horrible corporate polycule. It's great.
Okay. The important part was the polycule. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
fine.
literally, yes. It's all T for T, and then once this guy is also there, I guess. So very topical.
Okay. Ran.
Hi, I am Ran. I use she, her pronoun, and I have been a mystery this whole time. I am a theater director by trade and a game GM on startplaying.games. You can find me as the Lantern Keeper up there. And on Blue Sky, I am Birdic Inspiration. You can find me there. Although I am kind of terrible at social media. So if you want to find the stuff that I am in, make sure you follow everyone else here because I am in a lot of their channels. I will be playing a bunch of one shots to raise funds during the Pride Month on Nerds with Dice, as well as on Pocket Dragon Pub, and the many faced players coming up. What's happening immediately? Every other Sunday, I am going to be Daxera 19's channel playing a Force user in a Star Wars campaign, so you can catch me up there. And what else? You could find if you are in your city this fall or happen to be there and you're interested in live theater, please support live theater. You can catch my production that I'm directing of Feifu and Her Friends, which is going to be great at Brooklyn College. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. So just remember, here at Nerds with Dice, we have Nerds with Pride all month of June, 14 plus games for all of June. So make sure that you come back and help support the Translatin Coalition. Um, just wanted to,
Speaking
yeah, go ahead.
speaking of Pocket Dragon Pub, I don't have raid power on this channel, but they are live right now playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians for immigration equality. So if you want more gaming for more charity, go right there and continue the fun.
Ooh.
It's Pocket Dragon Pub, how it sounds. It's all one word. I swear.
All righty. So just wanted to wish everyone thank you for hanging in there, watching us, and like helping us tell a story. And I just want to wish happy gaming to you all and a wonderful good night. Thank you.
Right. Go to Pocket
Night.
Dragon Pub.
Thanks.